Samus has returned for her most desolate adventure yet in Metroid Dread. And this video may be late, but so is Metroid Prime 4, so let me fucking have this. But in all seriousness, this game has been a long time coming, about 20 years to be exact. And when I saw the trailer for this game, my reaction was pretty much, yeah, that. And even though I streamed this game already, I still had a constant urge to make a video on it. And every draft I had ready for it just never did it the proper justice. So here we go. I'm going all out on this video. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ash, and this is my view on Metroid motherfucking Dread. Just going to let you know before this video goes any further that there are going to be spoilers, so if you haven't played the game before watching this and you don't like spoilers, go ahead and click off, play the game, then come back whenever you feel ready to do so. This game. What can I say about it that hasn't been said already by the likes of Arlo, IGN, Jeremy Jans, Hiveminds, and of course, David Jaff. Yeah, no, scratch that one, never mind. Here's a tip, maybe just shoot the fucking ceiling and see how far that goes. Huh. Seems reasonable. But this game has plenty of things to gawk at, from the design of Samus herself, to the creatures you fight, and even the cute deer-like creatures in the back. Oh my fucking god. Well, the cute deer-like creatures that were in the background. And even how the world expands further than the playable space, how certain areas have a charm to them, from the empty, dark backgrounds of the caves and Arteria, to the sci-fi machinery in the Emmy zones. Fucking spooky. The new fluid movement is also such a good compliment to this game, seeing as you have very limited abilities that would otherwise limit the absolute hell out of Samus in the older games. It only makes sense that Samus, with this new, lighter suit, could just slide under certain gaps that are short enough. Not to mention how responsive the controls are. You suddenly jolt your left stick to the right and boom, Samus goes right as soon as you pull the stick. Another thing worth noting, the soundtrack. While some say Metroid Dread has the weakest soundtrack in the series, I'd like to disagree. I feel like honestly it kind of fits with the theme of the game. Let's look at the facts. When the game has more than 5 entries, I don't think anyone can really top that thuddy, eerie sound of the OG Metroid theme, or the calm, bittersweet rust that comes out of Phendrana Drifts, or that heroic theme in Super Metroid. Still can't get over that. There's no real way to match it, yet they did in Dread. Gave it its own unique sound, and while some say forgettable, I say quite memorable. That and the Emmy zones, I think, are the pinnacle of the soundtrack. At first, when the Emmy is nowhere to be found, you can still hear it somewhat in the background. You hear those little sonar beeps that it's still trying to find you. Then it spots you, and the music just fucking loses it. It matches your first feeling when you encounter the fast, tall boy. But I will say this, the boss themes could have just been a tad bit better. They just seem kind of weak compared to the threats you were facing. Hell, the fight with Ravenbeak felt more anticlimactic because of the theme. If it had something more akin to Metroid Prime fight, that would have been fucking amazing. Now, it's no secret that Mercury Steam, the development studio who were developing Dread, wanted to make this game as amazing as possible. And with that, they wanted to make Samus the most badass character from any Nintendo game. And in my opinion, she is. I mean, come on, if you had a parasite's DNA, murk 2 planets, and possibly more off screen, you'd have a bit of a god complex too. But seriously, they made sure to make Samus seem as much of a human as possible in this game. She shows so much emotion through just body language, like how she kept her gun up when she first met Ravenbeak, letting him know she's ready to fire upon his first move. Her fear when she's being held in a chokehold by Ravenbeak, facing what might have been her certain death. Her awakening of her Metroid powers, oops, spoilers. And even just how she moves during the fight with Corpius. Not to mention, plus 1 point for a badass front flip to the tail, and plus 30 points for the finishing blow being part of the fucking statue falling on him. Tail monster thing? I don't know, it's a fucking monster, whatever. Also, Adam, the guy Samus seemed to like a little too much in Other M, and the AI assistant akin to Alexa and Siri that appeared in Fusion has returned to Dread, except he's not Adam? What? That's some weird shit. Now, I want to move on to the bosses. Sorry, Adam, but I mean, what can I say about you other than you lied to us, you deceptive fuck? Okay, bosses. The bosses in this game are challenging, gross, and sometimes make you wish Joy-Cons didn't cost $70 to replace. Cause man, in my head I think about just burning the fucking things that they're fighting that beetle from Bionicle looking motherfucker. But the bosses are intimidating, as they should be, as it's a Metroid game, and Metroid Dread of all games. This game should kick your fucking ass and only send you a get well soon card while you're in the ER because of that fact. And I love it. Oh, and speaking of loving things, I would really love it if you guys were to subscribe, hit that bell, and maybe just like the video if you're enjoying it so far. I am so sorry to waste your time. I just had to plug it. Please forgive me. Onto the video. Now in this part of the video, I'm going to call it Spoiler Haven, because there are going to be some huge spoilers, like endgame type shit. So if you wish to keep yourself from all of that, please consider watching this video after you play the game. Now, onto part 2. The Emmys are the big reason Dread was never really worked on. The AI in the Emmys are fucking merciless to say the least, and sometimes when you're up against the ropes and you know you can't take much more, your best bet is to run, to hide, or better said by Adam, simply to survive. The Emmys are what solidify this fact in Dread. They can't die unless it's by a weapon you only get by facing against their brain unit thing. And even then, when you defeat the brain, get the Omega Beam, they are still a force to fear. For the first time player at least, it can be terrifying to finally get that edge and get pinned to the floor by the robot that towers over you like a titan, getting closer to your face, ready to finally put you down like a damn dog. They are probably my favorite part of Dread, even after my 5th playthrough where I started thinking they were kind of repetitive. But even with the factor of repetition, they still managed to make me recite my least 2 favorite words. Oh shit. The Emmys are an amazing component of the game, and I like to say that now since I see what Nintendo meant by some of the biggest threats Samus has faced. Actually, I call that a hilarious understatement. The thing is, I still feel like those guys were not the biggest thing Samus had to worry about. The X were roaming this planet, and we haven't seen them anywhere yet. Could it be the footage was faked? Who would fake it and bring Samus all the way to a distant planet? We only start to get real huge revelations as soon as we meet Quiet Robe. He explains it all, what happened between the Chozo, 2 factions fighting over power, the Toha, a tribe focused on wisdom, knowledge, and all things inside nature, and the Makin, focused on strength, conquest, and the pursuit of power. At first, it's a sight for sore eyes to see that some Chozo are still alive, and then one of them becomes not alive. That was not a fun time for either party. But then we start to realize who the big villain is. But here's the thing. Most of the villains Samus has faced, they never really had a true motive. Besides Mother Brain and maybe just really in the manga, some of these threats just never had a real reason to their chaos. However, there is one threat in this game that has a motive that made me hit the pause button once he spouted his plan. Ravenbeak. Goddamn. What a boss. What a villain. His design, his voice, his fight. This is Samus's most worthy opponent yet. And he fights just like Samus too, employing long range, short range, and even consecutive attacks to fight. He is truly a force of nature. He is what Samus is terrified to be. Someone who uses the advanced technology that was given through ages of collaborative efforts with the universe, now being used to harm it. And Ravenbeak has one motive that powers his entire narrative. Simply, power. He brought Samus to ZDR. He faked the X footage. He was Adam. You never were talking to Adam, by the way. After the cave, you never really hear him say any objections, lady. Ravenbeak has done his fucking homework and he is ready for the test. He wants to kill Samus, use her DNA, and clone infinite Samuses, all bending to his will, and he gets so damn close to doing so. He has Samus in a chokehold. She's losing. For the first time in a long while in Metroid, we see Samus on the very verge of death, and she succumbs to it.
But woman is literally too fucking angry to die.
Her for years hidden Metroid powers finally awaken. Her suit adapts to a beautiful new style. Her body goes into full fucking rage mode. But the issue is that she can't control this power yet, so she ends up draining the entire ship, forcing it to the ground. They both awaken. But as Ravenbeak is making his way over to Samus, an X infects him. And what we get is fucking disgusting. Giant Kraid Ravenbeak Mach 2 fucking guy. But Samus is quite literally a different breed, and she unleashes years of trauma, anger, and daddy issues to obliterate this new foe. And ZDR goes boom. Samus gets out, and hooray, universe is saved. Not bad. Whew. That one took a minute, didn't it? Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it for any reason, go ahead and hit that like button. If you disliked it for any reason, go ahead and hit dislike, and maybe even comment what you thought I could have done better. I'm always looking to improve my writing. However, that's it for this video. You guys have a great rest of your morning and or night depending on where you are in the world, and as always, stay cozy.